Gemini. Kia ora. Welcome to your reading for this full moon in Libra that was in full bloom last night. But if you check out the collective reading, or have done already, you'll see that these individuals will come up, individual readings that is, will come up on Tuesday. So let's see, we come out of the primordial seas of Bina, Gemini. Works in motion with the Chariot. We're coming out of those seas in quite a very, well, you would say a very balanced way, because that's the only way that that the Chariot can actually move forward. God, my stomach's going mental. Fully balanced. No need to harness the creatures that are pulling this Chariot. It's a very female card. It is the the formless moving into form, if that makes sense to you. We get the Queen, the Queen of Discs, in this particular deck. She reviews, looks back, sees the terrain, the savannah, but having made it to that point, consummate queen of creating in the material sense of the word. We then have this wonderful synthesis occurring here, an integration. This is your card, Gemini. This is your card. The dualities, the polarities, the opposites of, the two-sided coin. This is a sacred kind of commitment, a sharing of vows, a sort of alchemical synthesis of opposites, actually. So it's a leveling out, a rebalancing. Interesting, moving forward. And we will go through and clarify. We see the connections on this sea. We've got the Six of Cups, which is probably one of the most, I always think, balanced and beautiful cards on this deck. The story here is really all about balance. It's about where we've been maybe a little bit out, and how we can even that. We can't always be we can't always feel balanced. It's an ongoing work in progress, isn't it? So this is kind of interesting. This card does speak of people coming back. If you look at it in a literal sense, coming back from the past, memories of when giving wasn't loaded with expectation or agenda, basically, So that's pretty beautiful. It's like just rejigging oneself, Gemini. So let's have a look. We'll go through and we will clarify here. Let's just have a look. So there is a review. We're making some choices here. We really are. And it possibly is a time for some of you out there that is a time of rest. It is a long weekend here. It's Easter. So there is a need to offer this to yourself at this time. But I think that's occurring anyway, because it kind of needs to, in order to, this is quite a big deal. We've got a 6. We've got a 6. They both exist at a central point on the tree of life. They both exist in this area of harmony and beauty, actually. Queen of Discs for Gemini. Yeah, we get the 9 of Wands. To me, it's, the 9 of Wands is a card of habitual defense. Now, when we exist in this, we can't allow anything in, actually, and nothing much comes out either. It's like forever defending oneself, whether it's required or not. It's a habit. Oh, I do see the Queen, in review of this. We can't be fully a queen, non-gendered here, unless we understand this aspect within ourselves. And I think every human on the planet has this ability to get into a pattern of defense. And it's our choice to understand that, to sort of pick it apart a little bit and review it and alter it and morph it into something else, which I think is what you're doing here. So it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah, because in the process of doing this, we release ourselves from old habits, right? Now, the 9 of Wands and the 5 of Discs, which just popped out, go together like Laurel and Hardy. I mean, they really do. We're looking at this 5 as a card that expresses this idea of always lacking and always never having quite enough, but in fact not choosing to partake, not choosing to step away from a lack mentality and a defensive attitude that can often go with that to justify it, and then being dissatisfied. So this is a great learning. This is quite big, Gemini. It's quite big. And yes, it is about being able to accept, like, offerings, gifts from others that are not loaded with agenda or condition, or a level of dependency. This is what is shifting here. We see it with this, the Knight of Cups, an offering. Now, this is an offering, an emotional offering, obviously, a fast offering, and it comes with another beautiful card of balance, of mutuality, of giving and receiving, of being able to give and receive without there being any other problems that kind of muck that whole thing up, Gemini. It's quite interesting. Let's see, the 6 of Cups. Beautiful. I mean, really. Yeah. What strikes me, I was just looking at that with that Knight, is the intensity, actually the green of the field. It's just sort of, it's just glowing there. With that we get, speaking of fertile green, we get the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. This is a gift of material abundance, having the power to actually create that for yourself and also allow others to share it. to be benevolent with that and practical with it. We have that with this ace, this gift of clarity, of discernment. I mean, what other words can you use, you know? So we've really sort of peeled back some layers here about possibly how we do, what we see as a gift and what we don't. Do we hide behind the door, you know? When there's opportunity to receive but also give. We're here to give those things which are intrinsically our own gifts, like they're to be shared with others. They're to be shared, not to be shamed about, Gemini. So let's just see Brian Froude's Pixie and Fairies. Underneath it all, because, look, Gemini, we're so mind-focused sometimes. We do understand this. We understand very much so. We get 3 cards from Brian Froude. We get the Sage. Look, it can be a mind bender when, you know, you're looking past, you're looking at how, possibly, whether this is in terms of genetics, genetic memory, whatever it is, but it is a mind bender to think that, God, we carry so many of those memories in our DNA, you know, in our body. How the hell do you kind of work through that? Well, it is possible, but it's probably a lifelong work, isn't it? That's the nature of it. With that, we get the Hob Job, which is about unfounded fear. And it is like the 9 of Swords. It's like that, you know, catastrophic thinking card. The necessity to try and ditch that. And as that card just dropped out, we ditch it. Because then, Singer of Healing, there's a level of healing going on here at this time in this reading, which is very general reading, but it is quite full on. It does encompass how you see yourself and your ability to give and receive, genetic memory or cellular memory, all at this current time. It's pretty amazing, Gemini. It's pretty amazing. So on that note, it's looking bright and very shiny for you. On that note, ka kite, and take good care. And we'll see you next time. Cheery now.